We're here talking about how to use sam.gov to get your first win. That's what we're here talking about. I'm not going to have a dial in today, but that's what we're here to talk about. How to use sam.gov to get your first win. So, I'm going to do a lot of just sharing with you all how to do this. Very simple. I'm just on sam.gov, not even logged in. You go to advanced search. Thank you all for being really patient with me. And you go to set aside and you just type in total small business. What I also like to do is you activate the dates feature and do within the next 3 months. So we did 3 months, total small business set aside. Hello, Quandria. Hello, everyone who's here. Angela, Walex, J Rock. I appreciate each and every one of you. And there's way more than that. So I really appreciate each and every one of you. So here on sam.gov, you can see there's 2,800 different opportunities. So after you selected next 3 months, total small business, now you want to go to notice type. Solicitation, combined synopsis. So now we've narrowed that down to 2,192 opportunities that every single one of us here could bid on. Good. I'm glad that you're going to bid and you're going to get a contracts guy. That is super important. Definitely got to do it. Oh, thank you, VR 20K. You're worth it. VIP is best. Yeah, VIP is always best. So this is the beginning, because often you're wondering, like, where do I go for these things? Where do I go for these opportunities? And I have to break it to you. Even if someone sends you opportunities, doesn't even mean that they're necessarily a match. So I'm also going to talk about how you look at these opportunities. So here, I'm going to share a different screen with you here for a second. And here is an opportunity that was sent. It was still sent in an email. Maybe some of you received this, some of you didn't. I see my computer needs to be updated, or not updated, but like restarted. But also, this is a good learning. So this is an opportunity, relocation services. It's a total small business. It's due in 9 days. I like things that have at least 10 days between them. This is cutting it close, because usually if there's fewer than 10 days, it means it's pretty much wired for somebody. So just something to be aware of. And they start to describe it. They're saying it's relocation, include the move of staff, faculty, offices, and conference room. So for those of you who reach out and you're like, hey, I have trucks, I do moving, I do things all around that. I really want a contract. This is basically the type of work you would bid on. Or those of you who are like, I don't do any of that, but there's no reason I couldn't find someone to do it. So I'm going to talk more about this. And also, in case you're like, why is that thing keep spinning? This is a really good lesson for everyone here. So sometimes I'm on Chrome right now. There may be a time where maybe there's some update, who knows? So when I'm on sam.gov, it's spinning and I can't see the attachments. So does that mean I throw up my hands and say, forget this, I'm not going to do it, or call somebody? No. You try a new browser. That's all you do. You restart your computer. You see if there's updates on your browser. So I toggle between Chrome, Firefox, and then often in worst case scenario, I'll use like Microsoft Edge. So this is something to be aware of. If this ever happens to you and you have that little wheel spinning there, it just means there's attachments, but for whatever reason, they're not going to show up on your system. So therefore, or was I on Firefox? Just a second, y'all. Okay, good. I'm going to see if it'll work on Firefox before I share the screen with everyone. Okay, terrific. So. Okay, great. Okay. Oh. I'm loving, there's like all these, like, you have to update this and do this. I'm like, what has happened since I last went live on here? So funny. We're going to have to do interpretive dance is what we're going to have to do. Okay. Okay, I'm going to trust that you can see all of that and it's not too much. Okay. Can you all see this right here? Where you see the combined synopsis? I know you see like a million of my screens. Okay. So you have the combined synopsis. Let's see what it says here. Yes. Okay, great. So this one is really short. I mean, relatively. It's only 73 pages. So what's important on here is you want to find out what are they looking for you to do? What are the requirements? Are you going to make money doing this? Is this something that you can find somebody to do? And does it make sense for you? Because you can see the work is you got a month. You're going to pick up the stuff in Annapolis, Maryland, and deliver it to a different part of Annapolis, Maryland. So if you're in Keokuk, Iowa, and you have a bunch of trucks, are you willing to drive to Annapolis, Maryland? Or maybe you find a company in Annapolis, Maryland to do this for you instead of you doing this. They also have a site visit, and it says it's required. And this is not something that you have to physically go to. It can be somebody who's representing you. But this is really important because you want to make sure you're aware of what they're looking for. One of my coaching students, he bid on something very similar to this, and he went to the site visit, and it ended up being way different than what the actual statement of work or performance work statement. This is a statement of work, which means it's outlining what they're looking for. So that's why it's important to go, because you get to see what is it that they're really moving, and you get to build a relationship with them. That's really, really key. And you can see all the different details are here. Everything that you're going to need to do, all of it is here. And then for qualifications, it just says experience, education, task-specific expertise. It's not frozen on my end. I think we're good. Okay, I'll answer the questions in a second. And then it goes on. Here's another tip. This is a big strategy. Anytime you see this, a wage determination, it means you're supposed to pay a person the amount that's there plus health and welfare or equivalent, and benefits. But remember, this is like a one and done. But what this is also code for is they're not looking to pay a lot of money for this. Does that mean you can't make a profit? No, it doesn't mean that at all. It's just things for you to be aware of, because this is something that you could in my opinion, you could easily win. It's just a matter of, is this something you want to actually bid on? And then you can see in the document, they go into detail as far as what they're looking for you to move. There's a ton of information here, but I want you just to see what would go into something like this. What I also like to do is every time I get one of these documents, I'll do a search for evaluation. And it talks about to see like what's most important to them. Because if I don't know how they're judging this, then how do I even know if I stand a chance to win? And here's the deal. Some people out there will talk about, oh, things are a numbers game, things are this, things are that. It's all about what is your goal with SAM.gov. There's no reason you can't win a contract. We just saw over 2,000 things being available. So to win, all it takes is one win. You don't have to bid on 30 things a month to win. All it takes is you bidding on something where you're like, look, I'm the best for it. I offer exactly what they're looking for. There's no reason they shouldn't go with me. So for this, it says most advantageous for pricing. They're going to look at the pricing and compare with independent government estimates. No different than us. You want to buy a car. Well, what are you going to do? Grab your phone. You go on cars.com. You go on to all these websites. So then you have an idea of what the car should cost. The government isn't any different. I'm going to stop sharing here and go to these questions. So did that make sense is what I'm wondering from people who are watching. Did that make sense? Okay, as there may be a little bit of a delay. So one of the questions is, okay, great. Should I do a contract with a subcontractor if they're going to show up for me or just an email? You just need them to show up. Like it's like, are you going to marry the person that you go on a lunch date with? I mean, you might, but probably not. So you want options. Oh, you're so sweet. It's these ring lights. That's why my skin is glowing. Ring lights. And don't forget, I'm here in Mexico, so I'm getting lots of sun. Yeah. So when it comes to having people represent you, you don't have to have them sign any kind of documents whatsoever. So now I'm going to go back into some of the other opportunities that are there, that are on sam.gov. So there's 2,192. I'm the kind of person where I like to look through these, and here's why. Because we have no problem spending hours and hours on Instagram. So why can't we spend hours and hours on sam.gov? So okay, I'm confused. Where do I look to see what is required? You open the attachments. How do you price such a RFP like moving? You would find a subcontractor. So that was in Annapolis, Maryland. You just go to, let's see. Here, I'll go here. I just searched movers in Annapolis, Maryland. You can also go on Angie's List, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, any other marketplaces that may be unique to where you live. And you ask them for a price quote. It's as simple as that. The key is they need to attend the site visit, because while there was a detailed document that listed, that itemized what they were looking for, sometimes when you see things, it's like, oh, wow, that's quite large, or, oh, it's going to take a bigger truck. You could also, if you have someone in your network who's into moving, they may be able to tell you, oh, it's typically this amount of money, but you want to make sure that you're very well aware, because when you win, you have to execute. And that's what's really key about this. It's easy to win, I promise you. I know you may be like, come on, Kizzy, it can't be. It truly is. It's not hard to win. I've had people attend my challenges. I've had several of you watch my content and win. I've had coaching students win. There's no reason you can't win. It's just being very resourceful. So I'm still getting my cage code. Doesn't matter which category. No. You've been helpful. I've been following you for the last 2 years. That's so sweet of you. Skyview photo. I got my LLC in 2023, going back into it. That's great. Would you recommend bidding on service contracts or products? Hi, Jay. Okay. So I'm going to go back to sam.gov for a second. Okay, terrific. So here's my thought. And Antonio, I saw you on here, and I believe I owe you, yes, Antonio, I owe you a response to your email. So here's my thought. If you bid on a product, you just need to have the cash flow for it. That's it. And I do talk about it in my book, winnerswaybook.com. Winnerswaybook.com. I do talk about it there. But so if it's something where you're like, hey, I can easily use credit cards or other money to maybe spend $10,000 on something, fine. But I had a coaching client. He won a furniture contract that was like pushing 6 figures. And thankfully, his father was able to bankroll him. I mean, he ended up making a good profit, but how many times can you do that? I mean, it's great because you're like, wow, thanks, Dad, for fronting this money. And I don't remember exactly how much he made. I'd have to look on my phone. Let's say he made $40,000. That's amazing. But how many times can you do that? So those are things to really just keep in the back of your mind when doing products, is having that funds that are there. And also, we all don't have a father, a mother, a relative who's like, hey, here's $100,000, just use our money. So those are other things to think about, because what happens and what pains me is I get on my phone and I have all these DMs. Hey, I won this contract. I don't have any money. Can you give me the money? I mean, like, this is not the Bank of Kizzy Parks. And, it's not to be rude. It's just like, sometimes these are part of the learning taxes, and the government's not going to give you the money up front. So I like services because usually you can say, hey, I'll pay you in 30 days, 60 days. Some people we pay in 180, just depending. And here's why. Because big companies do that. Why is it that a big company can take 180 days to pay, but I can't? No, there's no difference. We're both entrepreneurs. How do I sign up for your coaching? Oh, and I want to talk about the fuel. So I'm in the middle of creating new coaching. So I suggest you go to my Facebook group. That's what I suggest that you do. I'm offering a lot of different things. So just be ready. How long does it take the government to pay? Anywhere from a couple days to 60 days to 90 days. If you want, I can talk more about that. Okay. I worked with Jeff Fuel. I think I could middleman it. Yeah. Excuse me. And that's why I brought up Antonio, because Antonio won a fuel contract, and I'm going to connect with him because I'm going to interview him. I interviewed him before. You all may have watched the video, and I'm going to interview him again. Good. Yeah. I'll ping you, Antonio. And because you won a fuel contract. So, and he won I believe it's a multi-million-dollar fuel contract. So the answer is yes. I mean, I just recorded a video where I talked about sheep shearing. Why can't you sell sheep shearing? Why can't you? So, okay. I was like, Nate Dogg's here. Okay. Um, let's see. Oh my God, people asking for money. Yeah, I mean, I get it. When you need something, you ask. Okay. I'm gonna answer more questions. How long is it? Okay, I got that one. Sorry, you guys. Factoring companies. Yeah, there's different factoring companies, but also sometimes they don't want to factor a $30,000 invoice or a $5,000 invoice. You gotta do your due diligence when it comes to that. But yeah, you definitely can look into that. Ty, I'm glad you got my live too. I'm gonna have more and more lives, and I'm testing out Restream, Zoom. I have a dial-in option that I tested out the other day. So just work with me because there's going to be a lot of just little tech things as I figure out what is the best approach. And so far, Restream is my favorite. No hate on Zoom. I love Zoom, but I really like. Oh, good. It's a BPA. So Antonio's fuel is a BPA. So what that means is a blanket purchase agreement. And this is also really important for those of you that are watching to get your first win using SAM.gov, is that anytime they need the fuel, they can go to Antonio because it's fuel. There are times like with you, like with me, I have a car, it's in Miami Beach. I don't plan on putting gas in that car again until probably June or July or maybe August because I'm not there. While there may be some of you where you fill up your car every 2 days or once a week or every 2 weeks. You see what I mean? So these are things to think about because it's exciting to win the contract, but if it's like, man, they're only buying the fuel once a year and they're only spending $10,000, but hey, if you're making $4,000, that's still awesome. But these are just things to think about, okay? I'm going to go over a couple more of these. Again, I like to look at everything because I want to see what are these things that are being desired. So you have this. I'm going to choose this one. I'm actually not going to choose this one. I'm going to tell you why. It was published on the 6th. It's due on the 9th. If you think that's rigged for somebody, please type yes in the comments. If you think that is rigged for somebody. It was released on the 6th, due on the 9th for tables, chairs, and linens. If you think that's rigged for somebody, type yes. And I will get us started. Yes, it's rigged. So don't spend time on it. It doesn't matter if your cousin, your second cousin, your sister, your mama, your husband, your wife, it doesn't matter. Let it go. Y'all, just let it go. Okay, don't go after it. This is another one. Published on the 6th, due on the 9th. Okay, we're not interested in those. And you may say, wow, Kizzy, there's so many to look through. Isn't there an easier way to do this? Of course there is. An easier way is you type in your NAICS code over here. So now it's only going to give me the NAICS codes that fall under the categories that I have selected. Solicitation, combined solicitation, due in 3 months, total small business. So there's 8. So what tends to happen is you see 8 and then you get discouraged. And I don't want you to get discouraged. And so that's why I like looking at the 2000, because then something may catch your eye. You may say, oh, I can sell batteries. Oh, I can figure out sheep shearing. Oh, I can figure out how to sell iPhones. There's an opportunity right now for iPhones and Samsung phones on Unison. So, but just taking a look at this, and this is one of my main NAICS codes: pastoral clinical care supervision services. I actually like this kind of stuff right here, and it's due in March. So this is something I would dig into. But you definitely have to read to learn more of what are they seeking. So a pastoral care clinical supervisor to provide clinical supervision with this chaplains for 1 year plus 4-year options. So this is for 5 years. And we talked earlier about that. So basically, I can already tell you what they're looking for because we have similar work to this. That while it's coded as training, it's staffing in a way is really what it is. And we'll double check. I'll go into my other, I'll show you guys the attachments here in a second. That's why it's also key to dig deep, because I'm at the point, because I've been doing this for almost 20 years now, although I'm 28 and a half, where I just know what these opportunities desire. And this is something that I picked up because I've done it so many times. And that's why I love making videos on this, is to help everyone here. So then you too can just grow your ability to quickly go through opportunities, because all it takes is one win. Once you have your first win, you're golden. It's going to increase your confidence. It shows the federal government that you're able to actually contract. It's a beautiful thing. So I want to look at something. Okay. So what I ended up doing is I pulled up the information. And so what they're looking for are a variety of training sessions. So it's training, but it's big bucket. This is considered services because you're paying people, a person, or people to provide this training. And also it's staffing, because these people have to provide all of these trainings. It looks like there's 48 small group trainings and 30 individual group trainings. So this isn't just, hold on, make sure that was still sharing. Can you guys, I don't feel like it's sharing. Oh, I see. It's not sharing it. That's why you guys can't see it. Okay, that's okay. I'll work on those. It's so weird permissions. But I promise you, I'm looking at the attachment for this one, and it's a pricing sheet. It says pricing sheet, pastoral care supervisor services. So with this, because this is a 5-year contract, these are people that they're going to be, you need them to provide the services over the 5-year period. So you need to make sure that you take really good care of them, that you, provide the services that you need, because you never want them to end the contract early. Okay. Well, great. So why am I spending so much time on this, you may wonder? I'm spending so much time on this is because, if you recall, I typed in the training NAICS, right? And it is training, yes, but in reality, it's you project managing, you dealing with staffing for the course of 5 years. This isn't just, oh, they want one training, there you go, right? So these are things to be aware of, because you may say, oh, this is perfect. You may say, oh, this isn't perfect. And for those of you who are in training and you're like, oh, I want to find a training contract, that's a perfect training contract because there are people out there who specialize in that line of training. And yes, my hair did grow a lot. Thank you for noticing. So we have a project management course, the Kirkpatrick model course, communications workshop, role playing. You can see there's a lot of different options. There aren't a ton listed here. So the other thing you have to think about when it comes to using SAM, and that is expanding. If you're like, look, all I'm going to sell in life are wrist guards. Well, it better be their best wrist guard, and you better have some high power people putting it out there, or you're spending a lot of money on advertising, because I honestly don't know of many brands that sell one thing. I mean, do you? I can't think of anyone off the top of my head. And it's like, all they do is sell wrist guards. All they do is sell French fries. I can't think of that. So the same thing goes here. The way that you get your first win using SAM.gov is by expanding your mind, by saying, hey, I could bid on something different. Yeah, I may have a background in training. Maybe there's something else that fits what you do. So I know that there have been some questions around, and I'm going to go back to advanced search, about your NAICS, and do you have to use the NAICS that you submitted and things like that. No, you can bid on anything you desire. Do you need to update your NAICS code within SAM? Honestly, it really depends. Sometimes they'll say some things like, you must have the NAICS code. I mean, but I feel like that's just an artificial hurdle. That's like saying, oh, I only date people with straight hair. I mean, really? Like, you only date people with straight hair? I mean, it's like, I can't think of like this hard and fast rule where like you have to have the NAICS code in your account. You can just go back and add it, but you can literally bid on anything. We sold Oculus headsets to the Air Force, and that NAICS code was like computer manufacturing. Really, I didn't manufacture those Oculus headsets whatsoever. So again, advanced search, 3 months, total small business, notice type. And the reason that I do combined and solicitation is because this means they're wanting, these are things they're buying. Like, we're buying these. There's no questions asked. We're buying these things. And also at the bottom, you can increase this to 100. And for the best strategy out of all of this, because you all have been so patient with me, when you log in, it'll unlock a feature and you can download all of these into an Excel file. It makes it so simple. So then that way you could just go through the Excel file, or you further filter. So then you're only focused on the things that you want. Yeah, they've had, like you said, baby formula, all kinds of stuff. Can we look over the paperwork? We'll look at some of it for today, just because I'm still kind of testing because I haven't been live in a while. I got to work out some things on my end. Think outside the box. Yeah. How do you find remote work? Well, Nate, pretty much all of this is remote. Like the moving one I just shared is remote. I wouldn't be in Maryland moving furniture. Heck no. I'm in Mexico. How do you know which NAICS codes to use? Harlan, that's a great question. That's why I like scrolling to see what are they buying. Like, if something is of interest to you, let me know, because I want to show you something. So I'll scroll. Like, okay. So far there's nothing here where I'm like, oh man, I'm really interested. This one's kind of interesting. But it was published on the 6th and due on the 8th. No. 2 snowmobiles. Okay. That's kind of cool. I love the USDA. We have contracts with them. I could get the money to pay for the snowmobiles. So then I look, oh, okay, it's 336110. That's how this agency decided to classify it. 336110. So sometimes you learn by doing exactly what I'm showing you. And this is what I do. This is literally what I do. The other way that you do it is, and I'll share the link with you. I prefer this one. Somebody typed in office supplies. There you go. So you go to that website, you type it in, and then you have the NAICS. But just bear in mind, sometimes when you enter that NAICS into SAM.gov, it's like, but there's no opportunities. There's nothing here for me. Well, if you're only selling one thing, if all you want to sell are wrist guards, well, yeah, not everybody needs a wrist guard. But when you work in a call center nonstop, you need a wrist guard. So those are some things to think about. And I love what Antonio said here too, because he's won multiple contracts. It's very easy. All you're doing is submitting. It requires a lot of reading and you're doing the administrative side of things. Yes, that's so spot on. I'll give you, let me get the link for my Facebook group. It's so true. And here's the bonus. And SAM.gov is the #1 place for opportunities. Many wonder, well, Kizzy, isn't there another site? Can't I go to, DIBS or GPO or Unison, or isn't there someplace else? Or can I find, simplified acquisitions and micro purchases? Like, listen, everything is SAM.gov, y'all. Like, there's other techniques and there's other places where the government buys. But for those of you looking to get your first win, it's SAM.gov all day, every day. You just saw, like, I'll go on the back screen. There's over 2,000 opportunities. 2,000 opportunities. $2,192 due in the next 3 months. We haven't even hit third quarter. I just put the link above. Click the link. It's the best way to get to the Facebook group. I mean, it's mind-blowing the amount of opportunities that are there. That's why all it takes is doing what most people aren't going to do. No, most people aren't watching a live at an evening. Most people aren't pondering buying a book. Oh, I want to buy her book. Why am I going to buy this person's book? This is a space of you learn, apply, adjust. Learn, apply, adjust. Learn, apply, adjust. That's what you do. Okay, so you're an event planner. Yes, you can bid on those NAICS, Morehouse 25, but you can bid on anything you want. You don't have to just bid on event planning. It's easy when you understand the terminology. I literally found out it's not easy for me. I have no clue what to do. Okay, well, that's cool. I appreciate that you admit that you're just starting out. So what I suggest, learn, apply, adjust. It's like with anything, because I find that there are people out there who really make this seem like, I type and I win. And I keep bringing up Antonio because I know he's on here. And one thing that I really like about you, Antonio, is in our interview, you talked about how, like, you would bid on something ridiculous, like 30 or 40 before you got your first win. Most people would bid on 2 and be like, I'm done, screw it, I ain't doing this. So it's like, keep in mind, I've been doing this for almost 20 years. So things come fast, but it didn't always come fast to me. I didn't know this stuff. I remember the first time this one guy gave me this RFP, I was like, what in the hell is this? I'm like, I have a freaking PhD. I'm going to understand what this stuff is. So it's, what can you understand? Well, you understand the fundamentals. Like, there was one I saw that was interesting. Motorola Land Mobile Radio. Okay, I think we all kind of understand that. Here's one we would all understand: document scanning services. This is FAA, I believe. No, Federal Highway. Federal Highway. That's the NAICS code. And they went document scanning services. And so then you'd open the attachments to read exactly what they're looking for. But on the surface, you have an idea. There's documents, they need to be scanned, right? And so if you're like, yeah, I got that, but I only want to do what I do. I only want to do event planning. Well, there may not be many opportunities. It's just something to keep in mind. Okay, Facebook, it's very helpful. It truly is. And I'm going to release a paid community soon too, which you're going to get so much value from that paid community. So, Quandria, don't give up, and don't think I'm like coming after you or anything. Don't give up. Okay, the Machine Ink. Good. I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that each and every one of you are here. Let's see. What else? That are active but past the due date. So Nate Dogg, that's a really good point. SAM.gov is like a repository. So it just stays there. That's why it's key. Let me go back. That you activate the dates feature and you activate it under more filters. So then that way, all I'm getting are things due in the next 3 months. The next 3 months could be tomorrow, but this is all I'm getting. That way it's not, I don't see something and I'm bummed out because it was actually due a while ago. Here's something everybody here could do. I mean, with the caveat, you're going to need some money. They're looking for what? Beans? Beans, dry, pinto, whole. This is probably prison, right? Yeah, they're looking for beans. And it's on Unison. And so it's going online and finding that bean provider. You know, it's something that you definitely could do. You just have to keep in mind it's going to take some upfront money. This may not be for you, and that's fine. But the whole premise of me going on here live is to show you how to get your first contract. I literally have on my phone a message from Twitter. A gentleman was like, I watched your videos. You're amazing. I won a contract selling milk to bureaus of prison. And I asked him, I said, well, how did you find the milk? He was like, oh, a guy in my gym. I mean, like, come on. I think he made like 5,000 or 8,000 off of it. So these are just things to think about. And again, if you're joining now, it's scrolling because sometimes that'll happen on your browser. So I'm on Chrome. I just go to Firefox and the documents will come up. I'm going to take a look at some of these questions right here. And I'm going to do more and more videos because, as I said, wow, there's a lot of you. Oh my gosh, thank you all so much for being here. I'm working through the kinks. You know, I've been on my own like life journey and doing stuff, and I don't want to cry and talk about all of it. It's nothing bad. It's all good stuff. So I'm a little rusty. And then there's things I got to update now and give permissions to share. So I appreciate you all being flexible. And I tried out yesterday the dial-in feature, which I really, really like. And I just have to figure out how to add it into Restream because I like this platform better than Zoom. So I'm going to take a look at this. So what I'm going to do is for maybe 10 minutes, just do Q&A. You know, hopefully that at least whet your appetite, gave you the things to think about. I do have and will have way more detailed videos, way more information, because you're probably like, whoa, this is a lot. And I get it. And it's a good place to be because it's easy to be complacent. It's easy to do nothing. It's easy to just live the life you live. It's hard to step out. So you're in Mexico. Yes, I am. If you saw a job you liked, would you ask a subcontractor in that area? Yeah, I would. That's what I would do. Okay. How do we know how much we will need for each contract? Sunshine, that's a great question. It's all based on your expenses. So let's take the beans. If you are like, oh my gosh, I found somebody who offers these beans and they don't want to bid on it, because you also, here's another strategy, y'all. You always want to verify that your vendor is not in SAM.gov. Or if they are in SAM.gov, ask them, I noticed that you're in SAM.gov. How come you're not just going to bid on this? And they may say, look, I just don't want to. Because sometimes people will say that to me, like, I'm sure you're going to bid on this. No, I'm not. And if you're offering to bid on it and include us, thank God. I don't have to do any of the work. I don't have to do any of the heavy lifting. I've been doing enough heavy lifting. I did upper body yesterday, lower body today. I got to do upper body again tomorrow. I got 50 pounds to lose. Like, I don't want to do all this heavy lifting. But you want to look them up. So let's say the beans come to $75,000. So you would need to be able to pay them $75,000. And then you could add your profit. The profit, I mean, I like to shoot for 20%, but that's pretty much bare bones basic math on government contracting. It varies if we're talking about people providing certain services, but that in a nutshell is it. And to Antonio's point, a lot of people, they don't want to do the paperwork. I don't want to do the paperwork. We just want a contract. Listen, I don't even know what agency it's with because I don't run my companies. I'm focused on this. I'm focused on giving you so much value on YouTube. You're like, damn, does she do anything else? And I do. So that's my thing. So we just won a contract with a company, 22nd Century, where we are a sub on a staffing opportunity. I want to say it's for the VA or somebody like that. And it's beautiful because we already subcontract to them. They've won the work. And so when the time comes, we just provide the resumes and the staff. It's way easier than us doing everything. So you fill in staffing for beans, HVAC, sheep shearing, radios. Okay, there's more questions. Hold on. I'm going to go back up. I don't want to overlook anyone. You all are so amazing. Okay, hold on. I know there's a lot of you. Hold on. Just let me make sure I didn't forget anything. I'm going back up to the top. Okay. How do we word our about us? ChatGPT. ChatGPT, you can put in the prompt like ChatGPT, write a 100-word about us for janitorial, for training, for radios. I use ChatGPT. I mean, I have an about us that I've been using for years, but sometimes I want to spice it up. I'll go to ChatGPT. Yeah, I know I hit this once. I'm going to do it again. The Facebook group is great. Okay. It is. Everything is a learning process. Don't get down on yourself. Don't throw your hands up, y'all. Good. Well, I'll make sure you all are approved. And this is a really good point that Antonio made again. If you can provide these services again, they don't care. They don't care. Like, I can't express to you enough from just firsthand experience. Like, I remember when I saw this, I remember somebody contacted me, and I don't have my coins here. You get a coin when you do a really good job. And I have my coins in Melbourne, Florida. And I remember I got this call. It was like, hey, I heard about you, and I want you to speak to Fort Belvoir for Women's Observance Month, which I believe is March. And I was like, oh, okay. I'd never been paid in my life to be a public speaker. And he was like, how much do you charge? And I gave him some number, probably like $2,000, which to me was like $1 million. He's like, that's great. You're really cheap. And I just was like blown away. I was like, they're going to pay me to speak for 20 minutes or I think I was supposed to speak for an hour, but something happened that day. So I only got like 20 minutes. Excuse me. It was crazy. But their general gave me a coin. It's one of the biggest coins that I have from there. Yeah, I use Firefox just because I got to update my computer. And also I want to say it's not like, oh, you have a Mac, that's why. No, the Mac is fine. So it's Kizzy. It's on the Kizzy side. Okay. Oh, good, good, good. Yeah, I don't want anybody to think that. Like for real. Like there's no like this ain't Nikki and Megan. Like ain't no beef, no nothing over here. I just want y'all to win opportunities. Like for real. Like that's just how I am. Now you mess with anybody in the group, or the Facebook group, then it's gonna be Nikki and Megan. But anyways, okay. Now we gotta stay high vibrational, high vibrational. Any updates on your Coro? So Jeff, it kind of depends. There are people who did make a purchase, and we're working to get that all situated. As far as the newer things, the new challenge that will be released soon. So I am doing a new challenge. I don't know exactly when it will come out because I'm having the sales pages built. I am going to have a community. There's a lot that I'm going to do. So just be ready for that. How do you get an idea of how not to overbid? So Thrifty MD Girl, this is an interesting space because I spoke to somebody who was like, hey, oh, sorry, y'all, I just realized I don't even have my computer charging. Oh my gosh. I can't wait. Before you know it, I'm going to have my tech person because, oh my gosh, I'm like, the computer's not even charging. So I talked to some person who was like, oh, I bid high for every single thing so that when I win, I make sure I have a profit. Listen, God bless you. I think that's a great approach. I am all about what are your goals? So if you're like, listen, I just want to win, then you want to bid, you may want to bid low. You may want to bid where you break even. And you may be like, well, why would you want to do that? Sometimes people want it for past performance. Sometimes it's a confidence booster. I'm just saying, I'm not saying to do these things. I'm just explaining, right? So how do you get an idea of how not to overbid? You can also, sometimes you can contact the contracting officer and they'll give you information. You can go and Google, you can ask them. This is the golden question that you ask every single time you're interested in something. Is there an incumbent? If so, what is their name? What is the contract number? What is the contract value? You always ask that. And they may not answer you. They may answer you. So on Unison, it's a little different because it's a reverse auction, but just things to think about. Okay, do we write so A and Nicole, and for everybody else here, listen, I know it's something that people talk about, and I'm actually going to even probably create a new video on one-pagers, but I want you to understand, you do not have to have a one-pager to win any of those contracts. There's over 2,000. Look, I'm going to show y'all one more time because I don't want you to say like, oh, Kizzy, she's lying. I know you wouldn't say that, but I just want you to see. There are over 2,000 opportunities due in 3 months. You do not need a capability statement for any of those. All that they're looking for is that you meet the requirement. You're not going to land them on Fox News or CNN. You're going to deliver. That's all they're looking for in a nutshell. So now if you're like, okay, I get it, but I still want a capability statement. Fair enough. What I like to do is create a section that's called past performance. And what I would do is list your employers because it's past performance. You didn't say that there were clients. You said it's past performance. So if you worked at Mercy Hospital, you could say past performance, Mercy Hospital. And when you talk about it, you could say, yeah, Mercy Hospital, I was a nurse, I was that. It's past performance, right? So it's a play on words. That's what it's all about. I have a transportation. Can I bid on? Yeah, you can bid on anything you want. The machine ink. You can bid on clothes. It doesn't matter. Okay, going through them. This is good. I mean, the real estate. How for a recruitment office? Oh, that's a good one, Chelsea. I like that. You got 3 E's in your name. So yeah, I've seen those. Are you talking about recruitment offices for the like Army and the Department of Defense? So how would it work finding? Okay, so here's the deal. They tell you what they're looking for. And I know a lot of them are in strip malls, or maybe because I spend a lot of time in Michigan, I have a home there too. So maybe you're like, okay, maybe you're like, well, this seems like a perfect space for it. And you get in touch with the property manager and or the owner, and you make sure, what you want to do first, that you can kind of sublease it if you don't own the space. And if it's fine, then you get in contact with the property manager and or owner and talk to them and say, hey, there's this opportunity for the government to rent your space for recruiting. And they usually need parking spaces too, because they have vehicles. And they may say, oh, okay, that's cool. What do we need to do? And it's just pricing. I had a woman in my Facebook group who was doing something similar. It wasn't a recruitment office, it was for office space. And she was working with the owner and the property manager. And while the owner of the building had previous government contracts, they didn't bid on this one. And the agency really liked her. So these are things to be aware of. The other thing, Chelsea, if you are the majority owner of your company and if you are certified by the SBA as a WOSB, you could potentially have them sole source it to you. And this goes for if someone's a HUBZone or if somebody's SD, VOSB, or VOSB. Okay, so those are some things to really think about. But yeah, you can do that. You know, the trick would be, do they already have space? And are they willing, and are they really interested in leaving that space? And maybe they are. Maybe it's too dangerous of a space. Maybe they've had, maybe it just doesn't have the traffic anymore. I don't know, but I've seen those. I would say that those are really good opportunities. Just make sure that you can represent the property if you don't own it. It's a really good one. Can I bid without cage code? No, not as a prime. Okay, we talked about that. Well, let me go back to this one. Okay, technically no, but however, comma, I mean, they could potentially make an exception for you, but it's dicey. It's really dicey because they're going to say, like, you're not in the system and you don't want to go through that. Do I have to have a business credit card up front to fund a bid? Morehouse 25, you have to have something up front to pay for whatever you need to pay for, whether it's a business credit card, it's GoFundMe, whatever. But yeah, often you do. Services, not exactly. That's a really good question. I have like this list, profitablecontracts.co. I have some things there, but I like the idea of the getting started. The getting started, listen, I'll give it to you right now before I go to bed. Just have to get up to work out and do a bunch of stuff tomorrow. So here are the basics. You need to be a legal business. Make sure you have a legal business name. You're legal with your state. Please do all of those things, because often people who have difficulties in SAM.gov and they're frustrated, it's because they never paid their state the $200 fee. You know, they never finished filing. They got their tax ID, but then they never filed with the state. Okay, that's number one. Number two is you have to register in SAM.gov. That's what we're talking about, SAM.gov. Number three is you have to have this mindset of you're going to win. You're going to win contracts. And look, I'm not gonna get them right now. Normally I have my my cards and they're just over there. Don't worry, the cards are gonna always be here, my Oracle cards, y'all. So you also have the right mindset and abundance mindset for this. Next is you have to be ready to read and research. Unless you're going to be very product specific, and I do have a new offering coming up that's all about products that I put together with my amazing colleague, Steve. So unless you're just doing something like that, you got to be ready to read, write, and read some more. Okay. Next is you have to figure out, okay, and of course have a business bank account, but how are you going to fund some of these things? What approach are you going to take for that? What kind of work do you want to bid on? And be open with yourself. Maybe you want to first start out as a subcontractor. Maybe you want to work for the government. Maybe you want, so there's a lot there, but I really like that question a lot. Okay. You really motivated me. Yeah. I mean, That's why I love that each and every one of you are here. I'm not here to play games. Like there's so many opportunities. There's over 2,000. Every single one of us could win something on there. Okay, we did that one. Looking forward to the Kizzy Shopping Network 2.0. I love Kizzy Shopping Network. I don't know if I'm going to do it anymore. I just don't feel it's not right with my alignment. Things will just come out. And what I really want to do is focus on building a community, a paid community, like $97 a month, something like that. If that seems reasonable, type yes. If you're like, that's crazy, you can say it's crazy. But I'm thinking something like that, because in that way, there's fresh content. You would get access to my team, to me. I just really like that better than like, hey, pay 3,000 for a class, pay 25, pay 50, pay 10, pay this, pay that. I mean, there's always going to be something that we offer, but I like the whole mentality of a community because it grows. It's not just like that. So if that seems fair, type yes, or whatever, just your thoughts. Oh, thank you. I just saw the badge. Wow. You're so sweet. Video game controller looks forlorn between the words try again. I'm confused, Legacy. I'm a little confused. I adore you though. I'm a little confused. Okay. Here, I'll show you how to do that, Mark. Just give me a second. What'd you guys say? Okay. Okay, somebody put 50. Okay, cool. Let me just give me a second on Sam. Laughing at myself. So, okay, I just wanted to confirm something. One thing about SAM.gov is they're constantly changing their platform. So I want you to see something here. So I put in a name of a company, one of them that I own, and you see the error message. So you have to log in, and then I'll show you where you do it. So this is like the home screen, right? So I typed in the name and it says you must be signed in. So all you would have to do is sign in, and then bam, that's how you would find the agents, the organization, to see if they're in here. That's the fastest way. And when you sign in, I know for my sign in, it's linked to getting a text message, but I'm about to go soon. So that's the only reason why I didn't log in. But did that help? Was that helpful? Actually, you know what? Here. Am I still sharing with you guys? Just let me stop sharing. Okay, here, let me show you. So I'm logging in is what I'm doing right now. So for those of you who have an account, you pretty much know what this entails. For those of you who don't, let me put yes. You can use, I think you can use a pin or something. I do the text message option is what I do. So you can see the workspace. Oh, stuff I have to do. Okay. So here on the home screen, you see entity information. See, and now it's populated. And so it came up. So let's say the name of the company, like they have Smith Corp. Let's put in Davis. Let's put in Jones Corp. So then all of the terms are coming up. Jones Corp. So then you can search. And then when you click on it, you see all of their information is there. Their UEI, their cage code, their website, the type of business that they are, the name of the president, all of that's there. So then that way you know, oh, okay, they are a registered company. So when you log in to sam.gov, it unlocks features that aren't there unless you're logged in. I do want to bring this up as being a person who is currently outside of the United States. I am using a VPN. You don't need to use a VPN for sam.gov, but for other government websites, you definitely want a VPN. I personally like NordVPN. This is not sponsored. I'm not getting any money from Nord. I'm just sharing with you. Why? Because, can everybody else hear? Let me see, make sure. Hold on a second. Let me take this off for a minute. Yeah, no, it should be. I don't know. I think everybody else can hear. Yeah, everybody else can hear. So I don't know what's going on with you, MRNT 2014. So as I was saying, you're going to want a VPN, because especially if you're watching this from another country, because there'll be websites you're not going to be able to go to. So just be aware of that. Let me go a couple more questions. How do you request grants? Go to grants.gov. Look for grants, Googling it. Because here's the deal. This is what's also important. The government's not handing out grants for you to be a business owner. Like, that's not going to happen. I don't know who's telling you this. You're not getting that. I'm just letting you know. It's not happening. There are programs. Definitely there are programs out there. But there's no go to this government page and you're going to get a bunch of grants. So for this, $50 for 3 months. By then we should have won contracts and can do 100 easily. Yeah, I mean, well, it's going to be 97, but I like where you're going with that. At the end of the day, being able to win a contract is up to each and every one of you. I literally met a gentleman yesterday here in Mexico who has won 2 contracts from watching my content, and he has a full-time job. Everybody's different. There are some people, they're never going to win a contract. It's just how it is. So I'm just putting that out there. Do you or your mentees ever do joint ventures? Yeah, if you're an 8A, I'll do a joint venture with you potentially. I'm only interested in 8As. This is more reasonable compared to an exorbitant amount of money at one time. Solid gold. I agree. Because one-on-one coaching with me is $500,000, because I'm not into one-on-one coaching. I'm over it. Do you need money up front to do service contracts? Depends. Usually you can negotiate a net 30, meaning you can pay people 30, 60, 90 days. But the thing is, everybody's different. I know there are people out there that'll say, you can always get a net 30. No, you can't. Somebody may say to you, listen, I know you need my HVAC services, but I need the money to be able to pay for the materials up front. So those are things that you got to work out. Okay. I get it. What works for in the delivery of the information. Okay, good. Is there any go by proposal to look at, just have a general idea? Wasafi, Toba. Every proposal is different. Every single one is different. Okay. It fits my first contract for past performance. Would I put the past performance of my subcontract or 20 years? Skyview photography, it depends on where is this going? Are you talking about a capability statement? Are you talking about a proposal? Like, sometimes they don't care about your past performance. I do motivational speaking. Well, I just went over earlier training opportunities. So the thing is that you have to ask yourself, is it something like you're selling? Like you only want to sell your services, or are you looking to sell generic services? So like when I first started out, I did a lot of this stuff. I don't do that anymore. I don't do anything. So you have to ask yourself, because if you're like, okay, I do motivational, then you're going to have to hit this. You're going to have to make sure you're active on LinkedIn. You should probably have a YouTube channel. You should reach out to anyone and everyone who hosts any government events. You need to speak for free at most of these events. So then the government can get to know you. Like it's going to be a lot of that. Holding webinars where you could bid on, we just covered one for pastoral training. You could bid on that and you're not doing any of the training, but you're still making money. Okay, there was a couple more. Is it possible to hire you to do my first contract? No. I know you're not supposed to be, you're supposed to be like, well, no. I'm not here to write your proposals, because what's really important is you got to really understand what you're doing, like what they're looking for. So Antonio, I almost had a leasing contract sole source. The owner didn't want to write the letter for me to represent. I would have made 14.5 a month. I was so heated. The profit was 60K. Yeah. That's life. And what I like about it is you just brush it off. It sucks, but I mean, it happens all the time. Happens all the times with things. What are types of contracts that would require little or little money up front? Services, but I can't guarantee that there's going to be a contract that all services are like that. Are most hotel bids paid by me? Yes. Is this being recorded? Yes. And I will let it go. I mean, it's a little messy in the front, but I'll let this one stay on the channel for the most part. How do I formulate an impactful capability statement? I have a video on this. I suggest going through my videos, but Taj, you don't need a statement. So why do you want a capability statement? Do you have to have bonding for all? No. Depends on the opportunity. Thanks for answering. Anytime, sunshine. Okay. Any updates? Jeff, I'm figuring stuff out. Do you provide help with capability? I gave away a free one. It's like, what is that link called? Let's see. Yeah. Profitablecontracts.co/free. So you can get a free capability there. What are your thoughts on using ChatGPT? I don't know about break solicitations. I haven't used it to do that. I use it to write, though. I heard you needed that statement. Oh, I think I never finished my thought about that. So please bear with me. Okay. So a lot of these groups will tell you that, like, you gotta have a capability statement. You gotta have this. Yeah, but they've never even sold anything ever in their life to the government. You don't need a capability statement. There are over 2,000 opportunities that you can bid on. What's the capability statement for? The capability statement is for marketing. So for sales, getting wins, you don't need it. Yes, Ashley, because the contract's in your name. All of the risk is under you. So Ashley, you win a contract for sheep shearing. You hired Tommy, and he's the master sheep shearer. You got to make sure Tommy's doing what he needs to do. And then you have to submit the invoice, and you have to pay Tommy, and you have to make sure the government's satisfied with the work that Tommy did. You can substitute sheep shearing for HVAC, for painting, for training, for beans, for ring lights. That's how it works. Why wouldn't they want to write him a letter? I don't know, Angela. That's a good question. Maybe they were scared. Maybe they want to sell their building and they didn't want to tell Antonio that. And you know what's kind of messed up? The government will spend a lot of money to buy your building. So I remember hearing about a gentleman who had leased a building to the government, and then they ended up buying it from him, and he made a huge profit. So maybe they were worried, because not everybody has this abundant mindset. A lot of people have a scarcity mindset. How do you know which contracts require purchase up front? It's based on service jobs like labor. They never pay, like, assume you will never be paid up front by the government. There's no being paid up front. So you have to figure out the money. And the people who tell you, let me tell you this. I've been in this space for almost 20 years. There have been maybe 3, maybe 5 times that we were paid up front. Very rare. The 8A was not discontinued. There's no discontinued of the 8A. So, so just keep that in mind. The only exception is with construction. With construction, they will pay out a portion because it's construction. And for any information on the 8A program, you can go there. They reopened back in September, the applications. What is your opinion on the attacks of DEI? Adrian, people will always attack different things. There's the simple answer is I focus on why I'm here. I am here to provide as much value, to share my light, to share my gifts. I focus on that. So there always have been attacks on diversity. There's always going to be attacks on diversity. One day there's going to be thin versus non-thin, people on Mars versus non-people on Mars. We already have colorism. Colorism will continue, like autistic versus non-autistic. Like there's always going to be some attack on things. I don't really get concerned about the set-asides, because with the 8A, you have super 8As like Alaskan Native and Native Hawaiians who have oodles and billions of dollars to put towards political campaigns. So they're not going to get rid of the program. They're not going to do that at all. So I don't get too caught up in it. So I have to tell John to register. No, Ashley, you are registered. You, my dear, you're doing it all. You. Okay. If you need clarity on that, let me know. So this Quadria, this has come up a lot. Like, I'm really curious, where did this come from? Like, now don't get me wrong. So work with me. When we won our first $4 million contract, I went to Bank of America and I was like, I have this contract. I need a line of credit. I took them the contract and they're like, well, based on our, loan processing department, underwriting, we can't help you. And so, but I was under the impression like, oh, I won this contract, they should give me funding. I just have this thought that people are saying these things online. So if you can maybe, or anybody who's still here, and I appreciate all of you being here, can somebody maybe share, like, where did this come from? Like, you can take an award letter to a bank and get a loan. Because the answer is no. It doesn't work like that. That's why having a relationship with a banker is smart and very important. You want a small bank like Cogent Bank. You want a small bank with a name that's so weird and so kooky, people are thinking you're going to the new club. That's what you want, because then you want the banker to be your friend. If you take an award letter to a place like, and They're not getting the money, you're getting the money. You can take that award letter to a factoring company and they'll be glad to take it, because then normally they're going to have the accounts receivable directly deposited into their bank account. I'm so sorry, Quandria, that happened to you. I've had that happen to me too. I've been scammed. And so I just was curious. And, and somebody said, and Zig said TikTok. Yeah, I mean, I promise you, it's not how it works. I had somebody in my Facebook group, they were like, why do you mention your social security number is business credit? They're not supposed to ask that. Okay. I got a lot of business credit. They do. I'm the owner of the company. So it's like, I think there are people who say things, whether it's they want to scam, it's they're selling, or maybe they're just talking out of their behind, or maybe their brother, cousin is like, yeah, I got this loan and I didn't have to do Social Security. Listen, I have no idea about these human beings. All I know is every single time, whether it was with PNC, Bank of America, Cogent, Cabbage, all these different places I've received funding, they always ask, what is your social security number? What is your date of birth? Where do you live? How much money do you make a year? They always ask that. There was one time with PNC, they had this special. They were like, we're looking to fund more women business owners. And I immediately got like a $40,000 line of credit. It was like one piece of paper I filled out. I was like, this is insane. And it was like I had to open a bank account with them. What do you have to give them to open a bank account? Your social security number? So, so it's just, I just want to share that because, and that's why I'm so passionate and I'm here at this hour, because I want you all to really know, are these things that are far-fetched and not doable? Hell no. These are things you can, of course, do, but it's knowing that information so that when you do win, it's like, okay, I got it. This is what Kizzy said, and this is real, Okay, just a couple more things, and then I got to go. So, do you have a checklist for 8A? I don't have a checklist for 8A. The SBA has a checklist. I think that would be a good thing to create. Credit unions are good, just again, make sure you get to know the business banker. Like they really need to know you. When I needed my line of credit, I went to Cogent Bank. The business banker wanted to meet me in an office. I didn't have an office. You know what I did? I rented an office from a virtual office place. I brought in some things so it looked like it was my office, and we met there, and he took a chance on me, and I got a $75,000 line of credit. So there are different things that you have to do, but that relationship was vital. PNC, I was able to get that line of credit because I had a relationship with a woman who like had to connect to the bank. And so this is where getting connected to local groups are vital, because in every community, there's businesses that are connected, like professional groups who are connected to different financial options. So you definitely want to look into that. Okay. I build software. What painful contracting service would you pay to have eliminated? It doesn't really apply to me. It's a great question. Man, I got these mosquitoes. How many submissions per week? HMAC, it depends on you. If you're like, listen, I'm all in, I would do 5 a week. If you're looking to do like middleman, subbing, you're like, look, I'm looking to bid on everything, I would do 5 a week because you want to get in your reps. That's not our business model. Our business model is we like to submit things that we know we're going to win. And we have multiple year contracts that bring in consistent revenue. So I don't have to bid all the time. So, but yeah, I would do that. I mean, if you're like, listen, I would do that. Because then the more and more you do it, you're going to learn. And of course, this is where this comes in, or my paid community, or whatever you decide to do, it'll take you to the next level. Okay. Trying to use grants. Okay. So Chantel asked for investors. Okay. I'm like, ask for investors. SBA, you need liquid cash. Gonna make sure you got money in your bank. Yeah. And the SBA loans take forever. So don't think, oh, I'm gonna get an SBA loan. Yeah, this is gonna take an SBA loan. So sorry, Chantel, I was a little spicy there. But like for real, get investors. Look into I can't think of it. It's not the MacArthur. I can't think of their name right now because I'm sleepy. But look into those groups that fund things like that. And then there's like Girls Who Code and all of that kind of stuff. Why not piggyback off of them? And then also there's like Girls Who Code, and then there's like, I know there's Black groups of coders and all, like look into one of those kinds of groups. And then, because the first thing they're going to want to know is, why do you need $100,000? What are you doing with this money when it comes to grants? What is the return on investment? Do you have a space? Who are the people? Why can't you just do it all online? You know? Okay. How do you decide on profit margins? I like to do 20% or more if it's something like simple. 20% or more. That's our thing. So it's 20% or more. That's what we're about. I mean, there's some, because I'm always honest with you. There's some contracts I'm making 90%. There's some I'm only making a couple percent. There's some I'm losing money on right now because I messed up. But for simple things, I like 20%. How can I find a good training company that does military training? Well, it depends on what kind of military training. Google, SAM, LinkedIn, great places. Okay, we did this one. It really is a networking game. For some of the stuff, Chantel, it is. But you don't need it to win. Man, these lights are warm. I was like, I got so hot, and it's kind of cool here right now. I mean, not as cold as where y'all are. But it's 63. Woo! I'm gonna have to look for an extra blanket. Oh, look, you're in Florida, Ron. Yeah, Space Coast Credit Union is a good one, and you can go even smaller than that. Let's take a look. Okay, money in the bank. Thanks for the tip. Let me just double check. I think I got most of your comments. Let me see. Okay, this is all good. Okay, great. You all have been amazing. I appreciate you being here. This is a really long time. I probably will not go live tomorrow, but I'll probably go live again, and just so I can just work out some things on my end and try out the dial-in, the call-in. It's an 888 number, so be ready. I'll give it to you now because you can't get me right now. But it's 888-610-1775. That is my hotline, the Kizzy hotline. So I'll take calls because I would like to do calls. Fifth Third has bank loans after 90 days. Yeah, I would type in like small banks in my area and go to the small banks. They normally will require that you open a business account. You have to have you have to have a legit business. I'm telling you, the first thing they do for me, oh, so you have a business? And they go on Sunbiz and look it up. I mean, I think American Express is fine if you want their card. It's not a small bank to bank with. Oh, thank you, Arthur. My face is quite cute. Content's great. Skin, hair. Hair is pretty good. I got some extra mousse because I'm here in Tulum. So, and I was outside a bit earlier. I had to go for a walk. So it's so amazing here. No, thank you all for your amazingness. I appreciate each and every one of you. And like somebody said, where was the comment? Because I just saw it, and then this is awesome. Where it was like, government ease is a different language. Holy moly, it is. But you learn like laughing out loud and what all emojis mean, and maybe you follow sports, AJ. Maybe you don't. But if you follow sports, You know what all these acronyms, you probably know things, stats about players that the players don't even know. So just channel that, excuse me, and apply it to government contracting. That's it. These are all skills that we have. We all have done research. We've all had that person we like, and we're all on Instagram scoping them out, or Facebook, or maybe you were old school and you were on MySpace or something, or you were on a Yellow Pages. I don't know. Maybe you had a party line. You're that old. Who knows? We all can conduct research. We all have no problem learning another language because we've done so with technology. We do so in rap. You got to keep up with all the terms and the slang and the things people are saying, and not just rap, but just in general, because society has altered language. A lot of slang is part of the everyday nomenclature, so you have it in you. It just seems like, oh my gosh, the federal government, and at the end of the day, the federal government is just people. Yeah, the number's not live right now, Zig. I was just giving y'all a preview because you're going to get a beep, 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 beep. That's what you're going to get right now. The next time I go live, I'll probably take calls. I got to link it to, I know, Chris. I was like, some people here probably had a party line. I have to link it to Restream. So I got to try it out. Okay, y'all. I'm ready. Y'all are amazing. This has been amazing. Again, thank you all for the questions. Thank you for dealing with the technology. May not be the cleanest, most concise video I've ever produced in my life, but I'll tell you this much. It's freaking value add. And if you're real serious and you really are like, I want to win contracts, there's no reason you can't win one. You're one contract away. You just got to use sam.gov to get your first win. There's no reason you can't. It's over 2,000. Another thing that I'm going to do, I don't know if I'm going to do it live because of I don't want all my personal information out there, but something that I do plan on doing is like recording myself just doing random proposals. Yeah, I know yesterday I had an Echo Megasonic, and I had the dial in and I was in a different platform and I had my cell phone. So I got to figure it out about the whole Echo thing. So hopefully I won't have the echo when I put in the audio on here. But yeah, so I'll figure it out because I really like the dial in a lot. So I just have to tweak things. We'll make it work. And then it'll be fun because I'm going to bring in my camera. So then you'll have better video. So that'll take things to a whole new level because I don't even know how to rig all that, but I will learn. Because this is what I'll end with. If I'm over here figuring out how to rig all this technology, you would be amazed if you saw all the technology I brought here. There's no reason you can't win a contract. There's no reason. No reason. We are having our FFL. Oh, good, VR. I'm good. I'm glad that you're having that. Good. So FFL, the federal firearms license, you're having your meeting at 10. That's good. That's really, really good. I'm excited for you because we can legally sell weapons. You can record them, blank out the personal info. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of doing. My amazing editor, MD, and his brother, Zohar, I was going to have them do that. So, yeah, I like the dial-in too. I like it a lot. I got to figure it out. I think it was on me because I really like that platform too. It's really easy to just bring people in and it just does a lot. So I'll figure out the echo. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm out. Y'all know, you know what? I totally forgot to tell you. Like, subscribe, hit the notification button. I always forget every single time during a live. One day I'll remember.